Hello, Pyramid Energy. I hope everyone is well. And I thought, let me do a video today. The main reason for this video is to discuss my personal readings and to give more context. I'll get into that. But now and again, I do these videos to greet and to bring a different presence, to show up differently. The reason I do audios is because, it's for very practical reasons, but also I really enjoy audio, and I believe that a person should create content that they would enjoy. I don't know how your senses go, but mine, I've realized that other than multitasking a lot, the more I open up my channel, the more my ability to take in and give out becomes limited. It's like a highway. If I'm receiving, which at the moment I receive a lot of energy, if I'm receiving, I can't expect that of my senses. I can't expect to be able to drive two cars at the same time in opposite directions. And so this is something I've accepted about myself, that I'm a listener. And months ago, I actually read an article about, whether to do audio or visual or, audio only, or both. And what came out of that article, it's some Yale study. I don't know. I do remember where I found it, but it says that, this is a voice artist created this thing. And he says the study found that a listener is able to absorb more of the empathic quality of a person's delivery when they're just listening. When you show up on camera, and again, this doesn't apply to everyone. I don't know. It's just a study, I don't know. It applied to me. It felt true to me. When you show up on camera, a lot of what you're trying to convey gets lost in all of this stuff. And when you're just listening, when someone is just listening, they can hear the truth in your voice. And they're able to see past what the person who's presenting is physically trying to show you. Because we communicate with our energy, we communicate, this is visual, and this is like auditory, is that the word? Audio, or whatever. It's, you hear the energy. And what I've found is, like, I'll do a reading and then I will edit it, which means I then engage the reading. I actually get to hear it, because when I am doing the reading and I'm channeling, I'm not actually absorbing everything. I am able to absorb some, but again, like the highway, I can't do it all at once. So I edit it, and I edit it so that I can write the description. And then I go back and I actually listen. And that's why I sometimes listen more than once, because then I hear it differently and a new magic comes out of it. And I've also found there's this thing that happens where I receive messages from spirit through these audios, and I receive them in a way that was not even apparent to me when I was delivering it. And I'll tell you why I've given some of this context, because I feel it's relevant. But just to cover some stuff first on the readings, because for a while now I've felt the energy of the questions around readings that I do. I have a little write-up that I send back to anyone who inquires about readings. It basically confirms the cost of the reading, it confirms the length, it confirms how long you wait before you receive your reading. So that here's the thing, is that Okay, written emails they feel so cold often. It's like you can write something and then, I don't know, it creates a lot of other stuff. I don't know how to explain it. And that's also the reason why I've showed up in person to actually share this information with you. And I hope this doesn't get too long because my laptop gets a bit impatient. The memory can't carry that much video. But I started doing readings via voice note. Okay, the first readings I did obviously were for myself. And I also connected. I realized that when I do a reading for myself and I actually say it out loud rather than just observing the cards, I get more information out. It's like something happens with the expression. It converts the energy, it grounds it so that it's actually real information rather than this air floating around. I have a lot of air and fire and water in my chart, very little earth. And so how I earth things is to speak. And to record it. That's how I bring stuff onto earth. Okay. My first reading that I did for someone else was a voice note as well. And I was able to then listen back to what I delivered to that person to get in touch with what it is that I'm doing. And I used to advertise my readings on my personal Instagram. This probably started in 2021, maybe around the end of 2021, I think. And then, I didn't do a lot of readings, but I noticed that what would happen is I realized quickly that these readings are not delivered to me because I advertise them. They're delivered by spirit, and the timing was such that I'd get them at certain intervals that felt like graduations. So I would go through something for myself, and I would sort of develop and realize that I've reached a certain point of my spiritual journey, whatever that is, whatever lesson. And then boop, I'd get a reading and I'd do that reading and I'd realize I'm interacting with the readings differently. And so they became sort of like a measure, a mark of my spiritual development and my ability. And then I went through quite a prolonged hermit phase. This was, I'd call this 2022. 2022 was the most intense phase of my spiritual journey as I've known it. Many dark nights of the soul. It was intense. I don't know what else to say. And I almost got shivers, it was intense. And I did few readings at that time, but even those, the same thing applied in terms of what I learned. And I even interacted with readings for a time where I did them in writing to see what was coming out, to be able to Here now on the other side, I took a long break from doing the readings, a mindful break. I went off my personal Instagram. I was like, if that is, I have a weird relationship with Instagram, just generally. Not the pyramid energy Instagram, more personal Instagram and how people show up and all of that. But let's put that aside. Stepping away from that Instagram is actually what gave me the space to begin on YouTube and do pyramid energy. And I just want to say that I'm a completely different person since I began here on pyramid energy. I started pyramid energy on a random, it must have felt like a Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And it was after a period of doing a lot of writing, and I was writing a lot of what I was processing. And I decided, today, let me just record what I'm processing, this energy, because I realized I was picking up a lot of collective energy, but I had no interface. So I recorded it. And at the end of that recording, I was like, now what are you going to do with this? And I knew I had to do something with it quickly because it was current energy. I knew after being in the reading that I was speaking to people. I can feel that in the container. I could feel that. However wishy-washy it felt, I felt like I needed to share it. This is my second YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel was very card readings and trying to copy what I'd seen out there. like in terms of the visual and the cards and laying them out and the camera and it was all the things, and it took up so much of my energy that I just I probably did about 20-30 videos and then stopped. Creatively it was a good idea to just go through that, but this is my second actual channel. Here on Pyramid Energy, it took me a while to start offering personal readings. It was the readiness and that I was waiting for. I don't even remember how they came about. I don't really remember how they came about, because I don't traditionally here on Pyramid Energy, I don't advertise anything. I don't have requests, if I can put it that way. I'm still not clear about why I don't do that. A big reason I know is out of wanting to maintain the integrity of my work here and what I do, and to learn here and to learn. For example, when I don't ask for likes and I don't ask for subscriptions, I've had to go through that, like, is this an arrogance? What is it? And it's not. It's out of wanting to understand the integrity of what I'm delivering here and to understand the truth of it. I feel like I've gone around a few things, like everywhere, but here we are. Now comes to the personal readings. When I do a collective reading, I feel safe doing them. I also, that there's room for you to take what you need and leave the rest. Again, something else I don't really say that. I put it as a disclaimer in the description, but I don't say that because I don't feel it when I'm doing the reading. I don't feel it. I feel that the reading is highly particular. I feel blessed to deliver these messages because the majority of them resonate deeply with me. And I've found if I listen once, I hear it a certain way, I get this information. And this happened in terms of personal readings in the last 2 days, I'm going to share that if this laptop allows me. But if I go back, once I have a different question that I need answered, and I listen to the same reading, it reveals like a completely different set of information for me. And so I've found that these words that flow through, at face value, they might say one thing to one person, but they're saying a completely different thing to the next person. And so for me, I don't see the need as like to tell you to take what you take what you need and leave the rest. This is happening naturally, because if it's not resonating, you should be drifting off in a different direction. And there was a time where I used to ask myself, my style as a reader, why am I not giving particulars? Why am I not telling people particular things about what they need to do? And because I don't see people's lives physically. I read energy. It's difficult to put this into words, but I feel the energy of the event and how it's playing out. And I believe that this is a big part of a listener's journey through their own development of their intuition, because a room should be allowed for you to apply it to your life and let it filter in and let it sink in and come out on the other side, I don't know, with a more, like the brain, and they say like if a child's brain or a person's brain is not stimulated through their lives, then those grooves don't deepen. And so I feel like it's an opportunity to deepen the grooves of your spiritual development. This is just what I've gathered. I just felt the energy change. Just felt this shift happen. So, I've come actually to discuss the particulars about my readings, because this is not one query I've received. It's energetically I've received the queries, but this is also via email I've received the queries. I guess because there's a market of readers out there, that do personal readings. I've seen a lot of them. You know, people will price their readings and they'll tell you 5 minutes mini reading, this cost 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour. And they apply a cost to all of those, and then they'll change the cost as they need to. And then they'll tell you 2 questions cost this much, 1 question costs that much, what and sometimes they bundle them. I've tried some of these approaches. The first time and the second time and the third time that I asked people for questions, I received answers like, I'd like to know about my love life, money, my career. And so what do I observe about those 3 things that I'm being asked about? They're not actually highly particular questions. Because let's be honest, if someone has a highly particular question, they'll receive the answer. At this point of your journey with your intuition, all you need to do is write the question down, wait for a while, and the answer comes to you. I believe this. And try it. The reason I'm saying that is because, you know, I'm very passionate about other people developing their intuition. I believe that's actually the core reason why I'm here. But try it. Even manifestation. The hardest part is getting clear on what you want. The hardest part is getting clear about what you want. And so it's easy to come to Gontse and say, I want to know about my love life question. This, and I don't know how other readers process this, but for me, everything is governed spiritually. So yes, there's my position as a human. However, if there's something that I want, if I'm not clear about what I want, then that communication to spirit has not been provided. And so what I see my readings, their role is very much not to address your particulars. They're not to address your particulars. I have found that when I accept a reading order, my role is to create a container. This container creates an opportunity for you to hear through my voice and these words that flow through me what spirit wants for you. I do have certain structures I've put in place to be able to create some kind of order and to reduce the level of unknown as I sit down and the pressure on me. However, even that shifts because again, I go through a lesson, I go through something and then I've got to adjust. And so I'm very non-committal about what I'm going to share in a reading. I'm non-committal. I've tried this thing of like options, okay? So if I do 20 to 30 minutes, and I wonder how people have responded when they order a 20 to 30 minute reading for this cost and they get 50 minutes because I can't do 20 minutes. I can't do 20 minutes. I've entered this, and I also can't do, I'm saying I can't, and I don't like this word I can't because it suggests that I'm not open to learning other ways and stuff, but let me rather say, right here, right now, at this time of my life and where I am, I have not produced a 20-minute reading. This opportunity to sit with spirit and to receive this information. You can't just touch on something for me. And again, people have different styles and I honor them. This is my experience. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have not sat with another reader as they produce their readings, and I don't know what their relationships are with their readings and how they do them. But for me, it's like this holistic spiritual immersion. That's how it feels. And I believe that if you can come into balance and come right and feel empowered with your spirit, a lot of the other stuff starts to come into place. We are given way more equipment and tools as humans in this life than we are able to or want to accept. or are able to embrace or have the awareness of, I suppose, being able to embrace. Once you realize that and you get proof, and I believe this is where I come in, proof that your spirit is alive, that your spirit speaks to you. How is this proof delivered? This proof is delivered through, I say things to you that apparently you already know. And now I reduce that opportunity for that container to wow you and to confirm for you if you approach me with your particulars. And I believe that this openness is so valuable because you're essentially coming to someone to ask for something you don't know already. Something you don't already know. The feedback I've received from readings has helped me a lot. It too is rather vague, but it gives me exactly what I need. It gives me exactly what I need. I have not had regrets. Nobody's communicated a regret. I have had returns. I have had people who even struggle to put into words, and then I get this like general, like this like deep gratitude. And I suppose that's been enough, because then the person needs to go back and sit with their reading and maybe listen to it again and connect with it again. And this personal reading space has been a very interesting one for me, and it's magical because I don't get the experience of the listener. I don't get that experience. I have my own experience. And I've found that I need breaks in between these readings. I mean, right now I'm processing something else. I'm doing some work with spirit in terms of my frequency. And I believe this conversation is part of this, of my own development in terms of the frequency, because number one, I'm not a machine. I'm not a machine. Order now, 30 minutes, 24 hours. I'm not. When you order your reading, I'm also in the process of, I'm in my spirit. I'm in my processes. And I believe that these readings are delivered in divine timing. And I know because I've received that feedback. Whether the person waits 2 weeks or 1 month, I don't know. It lands on them. They've said this. It lands on them at a time that's relevant for them. And I deliver it in a time that's relevant for me. Because here's the other thing, reading for someone in this collective. They send me. What happens, what's happened with some of them is I receive the order. I have a resistance to actually sitting to do the reading. This was mostly 2024. A resistance. And then I go through some stuff. It's like I get put through this education with spirit, not realizing it's actually preparing for that reading. But on the other side of that reading, I come out and I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to deliver that if I hadn't waited. So now things have changed quite a bit. I can't explain the change, but here's a few things I can tell you now about these readings. Please don't send me your questions. That's the most polite way I could find to say it, and not to say there's an impolite version. I just feel it sounds like I'm not open, and it's not. I'm working with energy. We're working with energy, and this is a collaboration. And I'm reminded now that that reading, the very last reading that I posted, I listened to it last night, and I realized that that reading too is actually looked at differently, is an answer to anyone who has been asking themselves whether they should do a reading with me. It will address that. This is not an advert for my readings at all. receiving readings, I've had to also deal with this overwhelm. And I've managed that by just explaining and not rushing myself and trying to deliver readings at the speed that other readers do. I'm very upfront about when you'll receive your reading. If I need a month, then I'll need a month. I don't want also your energy waiting, questioning when it's going to come, because I feel that too. You know, this thing of this merging of energies is something else. And I'm learning on the job. This is on the job training. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. And it's such a privilege. It's such a privilege. But just to say as well that a collective reading has always felt safe because you've got the option of taking or leaving. A personal reading feels like I have your heart in my hands. And so this is a great level of responsibility that I'm holding. And I hold it with integrity. And that means that if I wake up tomorrow and I'm meant to do a reading, or I've told myself I'm going to do a reading, and I have just gone through a whole of something, whether it's in my personal life or whatever it is, I'm not bringing that into your container. I'm not bringing that into your container. I'm going to work through that, clear it. And, you know, this is happening less and less and less because I'm engaging more with pyramid energy now. So this happens less for me, but I'm going to honor the space that I'm creating for you. Because when I open that container, I surrender to spirit and I allow for anything. I allow for anything to come in. And I'm not dictating to spirit what to tell me, because spirit is more intelligent than I am. My job is to move my mouth, to create the space, and to breathe, and to be open. That is my role. And so what happens when I receive your questions, because I'm not a therapist, you're right, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a therapist. For all intents and purposes, this is all for your entertainment. I'm not a therapist, and so whether it's about the tools or whatever it is, I just don't have the capacity to receive your concern and to receive it on a mental level, because that is not the level I engage at. I engage at an energetic level. And so that's why I felt I needed to explain this, is because it's not because I don't care about your concerns. It's definitely not. It's that I care so much that I want you to have access to what you came for. Baby, this is what you came for. Sorry, that also became the title of that video. This song has been playing, you know, and that's what you came for. That's what you come for. If you ask for a reading from me, that's what you come for. And I hope that if anyone feels comfortable who I've had a reading with can leave some kind of comment, and completely understandable if you don't. But if you could leave some comments just to share a bit about your experience for others. I want to open this up so that to just remove some of these questions. And there will never be I can't share everything again, because I don't know everything about the readings. I just don't. I just love doing them. And I love doing them more, the more room I have. The more room I have in terms of time, the more room I have in terms of, you know. And so let me just go back to my notes to make sure I've addressed everything. The cost of my readings changes. It changes. It's gone up, it's gone down, it changes. I like to create a balance between what I feel I need out of it, and at the time, especially, what I feel I need out of it and what I feel will be accessible for whoever needs it at the time. And this is also ever changing. And so my approach to the cost is intuitive. And I believe that if the cost at the time does not work for a person, it's not their time, at least with me. And so the best way to check what the cost is to look in the description of the most recent video. That's the best way to check what the cost is. And I say that because someone might watch a video from 2 months ago and see a different cost and then come back and expect it. And And what I'm also going to do is leave this video and the link for anyone who really wants more meat about these readings. There was even a time I used to post, there was a time I posted a personal reading I did for myself on Patreon, because I was learning about, like, my approach, what's actually going on. And then I realized this reading applies to other people. It's still there. It's still there. I don't know if I put it at $5 or $8. It's still there. And also there on Patreon. I haven't done Patreon in a while, but the readings are timeless. The description explains exactly what it's about. And I put them on Patreon because they felt like I was going a bit more personal. And I just didn't want them on, and if I just didn't want them on just YouTube. I just didn't. Timing. I will give you the timing when you order the reading. And if there's a delay, I'll let you know. I have not yet delayed beyond, let's say, 3 days without actually telling someone that there's a delay. I've asked for a lunar month, and to be honest, I don't even know what that means. I just knew, like, I need like 4 weeks. I need space. And right now, I have any reading that is asked of me now will probably be sent to you during February, and it could be sooner. It's just like that's what I feel right now. And currently I'm clearing readings that were ordered in December. And so I'm not sitting on any readings that were ordered in November, if you understand what I mean there. The length, I've addressed that, 40 to 50 minutes. Like, it's also like around 50 minutes I get antsy and I can't take anymore. I have to go beyond 20 because we haven't covered enough. It's so irrespective of the cost, that's generally what the length has been. Between 40 and an hour, 40 minutes to an hour. It just depends. I also generally cut out a lot of the shuffling, so it's not. So the readings actually take me longer than the recording you receive. No questions. This came up, the thing about questions and what I need from you, this came up in the "this is what you came for" video, when you listen to it differently. Please don't send me your information. I'm almost going to ask for anyone who has sent me their information for a bit more time to clear that information, because it compromises the container. And I know other readers take questions, and I know other readers ask for astrology, charts, readings, all of that. What I need from you is your name. All I need is from you is your name and your time is all. And even times where I've wondered to myself, is this a man or a woman? Or I've realized, no, maybe that's the only thing I've ever wanted to know, but it's never really been a factor. Because what I want for you is, and what I want for me is for me to enjoy giving the reading in my style, because that's what I do best. And what I want for you is for you to be able to sit in that container with me and receive what it is I have to offer, because that's what you came for. The format, it comes via a YouTube link. I have a separate YouTube channel. It's unlisted, and so the only person who can actually listen to that reading is anyone with that link. So I can listen to it, you can listen to it, and if you decide to share it with anyone, they can listen to it, and it's going to be there. And so you're not rushed, and you can listen to it a million times or not at all. But I will share the link with you, and I will not share that link with anyone else. 100%. I can't believe I even had to say that or said that. I don't know why I said it. Feedback, comments. I have asked for anyone who has had a reading with me to drop a line if they see this video, to share with you where that is. And if you have any questions, you can actually, you listening now, if you have any questions, you can add them in the comments and I will respond. What else do we have? That feels like everything. That feels like everything. Thank you so much for your time. You know, this is quite a long video given what I thought my laptop would allow. It's been really good connecting. After this, I will surely go back to my audio only, black and white, and no visual. It works for me. I'm a mother of 2 children. I co-parent with their father. They're not always around. So this, in terms of my capacity, it gives me more room. It gives me more space as well from a very practical level. If I decide to do a reading at 11 p.m. and I'm already in my pajamas and I've taken my makeup off, which obviously I'm not going to front about that, you know, I'm not going to come on camera. And also, if I've got energy coming in quickly and I want to do a reading, I'm not going to stop and like set up and all of that. And I'm also not going to have a set station right now in my life. I don't have a set station for doing readings. My set station used to be outside, but the garden, like, first of all, the grass had not been cut for the whole of December because the person who usually cuts it has not been around, and I'm scared of sitting in like really high grass. And now the grass has been cut, but Mother Nature has said rain, 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 rain almost every day. So we haven't had, my office is usually outside and I haven't had my office. And so in the house, you know, my children will destroy any station I create. So my flexibility is important when it comes to readings. And also to just sit and have it's like I view into this container and I feel the energy, and this is overstimulation for me, the screen. But I believe that these opportunities that I have to connect with you like this are enough. And I think for me, I really enjoy staying true to my style. And if I show up now and again, at least we connect like this. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your feedback and your comments in the comments section. Thank you so much for being this dedicated to your own spiritual journey. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your thank yous, and thank you for your donations. The other day I received a donation and his words were, to keep your fire burning. You know, I don't know what else to say. I was just so touched because I have a fire for my work. But a donation touches a different part of my heart, because it's not something I ask for and it's not something you have to do, because honestly, your thank you is enough. And I'm so very touched by your donations. Thank you so much. Okay, this is getting messy. Sending you so much love.